Hunting and caring for her young are among a lioness' key responsibilities as a member of the pride. The animal realm, on the other hand, can be quite startling at times. One photographer observed a lioness approaching a young calf, which was comparable to the way photographers come across species that create particular ties with one another. Several bizarre moments were captured on tape while a lioness was out hunting and came upon a young deer, thanks to the efforts of a photographer. We are well aware that lions can and will hunt deer when the occasion presents itself, but this particular lioness had something else on her mind. In your personal opinion, you would think that a lioness and a baby deer would make for a hazardous combination, and you would be correct. Because she is not only one of the most powerful predators in the world, but she also preys on innocent deer calves, which are no match for her savage jaws and can be killed in seconds. On the other hand, what occurs when these two people come into touch is bound to take you completely by surprise. What ultimately leads to lionesses being more effective hunters than lions is still a mystery. The fact that they are about 30% faster than their male counterparts despite their smaller size means that females are also formidable predators in their own right. The lioness in our narrative, on the other hand, was unsure of what to do with the small deer she had come upon in the forest. As a result of the fact that this small deer was discovered by a lioness, one would think that it would have ended up as chopped venison in the end. This, however, is not the case at all. For her part, the lioness kept her distance from the baby and carried on with the rest of her hunt. A strange meeting ensued as a result of the lion's terrifying reputation, and one has to wonder whether or not the lion's good nature will last in the long run. Taking this calf on its journey was a difficult and perplexing experience. It's reasonable to presume that the lioness has previous experience with cubs, and that her maternal instincts kicked in at the appropriate time. The thought that a young deer would be easy prey for a formidable predator such as this did not deter her from taking care of it. Another advantage is that it was able to live because other predators would have undoubtedly taken advantage of the scenario. And it is at this point that the photographer is witness to something that utterly takes him by surprise and leaves him speechless. Lionesses have been spotted caring for pups of many types, and this is not a new phenomenon, as documented by a number of films and wildlife photographers. Lionesses are said to be responsible for the care of leopard cubs and even puppies at animal sanctuaries, according to reports. Do you think this one is taking care of the deer, or are you thinking she's getting ready for a snack? Choosing to treat the juvenile deer as if it were her own, the lioness shows enormous affection and tenderness toward her prey. What happened to the deer's mother is a mystery that has to be explored more thoroughly. Is it conceivable that she was killed by another lion? Fortunately, this lioness has made the conscious decision to be empathetic toward others. That this wasn't some cruel joke, and that her goodwill wasn't truly dinner preparation on his behalf was something the photographer was hoping for. When you see what occurs next, you will have a nice sensation in your heart. He begins grooming the deer as soon as she comes into contact with it. Even though it is visible, the deer does not appear to be bothered by it. In fact, it appears that he is having a good time. We have no doubt that the experience of being lost and alone in the bush was traumatic for the little fellow. Do you believe she sincerely cared for him as her own cub or as her victim? Or do you believe she cared for him for some other reason? What will happen to him is a mystery. She has not yet completed cleaning up after her new baby, despite the fact that she is the mother. Although it appears that the calf has already gone to sleep, the calf's puzzled face and neck are being licked by her. When the deer's teeth are knocked out, he becomes upset and begins to run away. It's hard to blame the young one for wanting to escape getting bitten by the lioness's fangs, despite the fact that she's doing everything she can to be nice. The fact that this small kid would actually attempt to leave his new mother, however, was something we did not anticipate. According to the specialists, when they examined the deer, they discovered that it appeared to be only a few days old. It's likely that another predator took advantage of the situation and separated the poor creature from its mother while she was out hunting for prey. Fortunately, this lioness has chosen to be merciful to it, else it would have most likely met the same death as the other creatures in the enclosure. When she opens her mouth wide, the calf responds by bleating loudly in response. Because of this, the lioness decides to expand her mouth wider to meet the shift in the tide. A better friend than a meal, did she think? Did she think that the deer would be better as food? The small guy's time on this earth is running out, it would appear. The deer screams in terror as the lioness fangs penetrate deep into its little body. What prompted the lioness to reconsider her choice? Could it be that the deer simply smelled too nice to pass up? Fortunately, the lioness was not thinking about what she was going to eat at that moment. She was only attempting to pick up the deer in the same manner in which she would pick up her pups, which was unsuccessful. It looks that she intends to take the little boy with her on her journey. The baby deer struggles to wriggle its way out of the lioness' mouth as she continues her journey over the plains. There is no getting away from the fact that she has such an incredible hold over him. Because you have no other choice, my little buddy, you must go on this adventure regardless of how much you want to. Unfortunately, it appears as though this will not be the most comfortable of journeys to be had. We are unable to comprehend the extent of the suffering that the small deer is experiencing as a result of the lioness's dragging of him about. She, on the other hand, appears to be going about her business, as if this is just another normal day in the wilderness. The lioness, however, ignores the cries of the infant deer and continues on her trek without stopping. He is still too young to have developed the escape reflex, but he has a strong sensation that something is not quite right with the world. That she is not simply playing a cruel game with the child, and that she is in fact bringing the child to her pack as a snack is something we aspire for. A rapid and unexpected change of pace is displayed by the lioness, who drops the buck and stares it down. By the time I return my attention, the deer appears to be too terrified to move, but it has ceased bleeding as well. The baby deer made a break for it, or at the very least, attempted to learn how to walk properly. Perhaps he's also on the prowl for some sustenance as well. After all of the aid offered by the lioness, don't you think the little guy should be treated with a bit more respect? Unfortunately, he has a sneaky sensation that danger is lurking just around the corner. With her tongue hanging open, the lioness looks to be delighted by the deer's pathetic attempt to flee, as she simply picks him up and places him back in her mouth. A few minutes later, the photographer noted that the lioness had re-entered the forest and was on their way again. The lioness appears to be extremely content with the deer that she has in her maw at the moment. Maybe she has changed her mind and now believes that it would be preferable to make a snack for this little fella. The two of them have already shared a beautiful experience that has helped to strengthen their bond. In the end, it is successful in getting out of the lioness's jaws and making a break for freedom. He is back in the lioness' mouth in a matter of seconds after she takes a few strides forward. Uncertain of what is going to happen to it, the deer calls out once more in fear for its life. The lioness appears to be engaging in some sort of game. Do you think she's trying to protect the deer, or do you think she's just fixing her supper in preparation for the kill? Unfortunately, the next stage is quite inconclusive, as the photographer lost the lioness and the baby deer. It wouldn't come as a great shock if we were to learn that the lioness brought the deer to an ultimate demise, as that is just instinct. All we can do is hope for the best and hope that the deer made it away safely. It seems that lionesses often pick up other animals on their journeys. What happened to this deer was also experienced by an unsuspecting antelope, but we actually know what happened to this one, and it isn't what you think. Upon first sighting of the diminutive antelope, which looked to have appeared out of nowhere, this mother lion was extremely bewildered. Photojournalist Gordon Donovan, who is located in New York, was in attendance for the entire event. What a bizarre and breathtaking sight to behold. I was looking forward to seeing the lions, and when she trapped the springbok, I was ready to go in and kill them. Soon after seeing the lioness take the newborn into her arms, he assumed control of the calf, even protecting it from other pregnant lionesses who might have been tempted to nibble on it. What was the motivation for this lioness's protection of the young cub? Following an invasion of their territory and the loss of her cubs, this lioness has lately lost her pups to a male from a rival pride, which has caused her to become depressed. She had been weeping over their deaths and had taken in this young calf, who was now serving as a replacement for what she had lost. The fact that you were under the notion that this lioness was preparing to devour the tiny antelope is understandable. It was even Donovan who was preparing himself for the dreaded moment, but it never came and started cleaning the calf. The mysterious aspect of nature is that you never know what's going to happen next. She then took care of her adopted springbok pup, keeping him safe from the other lions. The wildlife photographer acknowledged his excitement at having captured these one-of-a-kind moments while on assignment in Africa, saying, "These are the moments I seek when I go to Africa." They were treated to a wild encounter that they will remember for the rest of their lives, you could say. While we are uncertain of what happened to these little calves, It is apparent that maternal love has no bounds, regardless of reason or species. You'll have to wait till you witness this beautiful story to believe it.